Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host today, Rockin Robbie Billups, station Pop Pop Boom. But before we get into today's show, I do want to say a couple of things. Number one, The Experience, which is the channel that I do my show with Dynamic Forces on, is very close to 2,500 subscribers. So everybody, please go to the link in the description below, sub up, because when they hit 2,500 subscribers, they're going to be giving away 25 prizes. We'll be talking about that. Also, this is your last day to vote for me in the CBC Awards. So please go to cbcawards.org and vote for us for a favorite channel, community channel of the year, best collaboration, best comic review, best ongoing series, and best beard. So I hope everybody gets to throw in those votes and go sub up The Experience. Speaking of The Experience and Dynamic Forces, we got Team Dynamite here because it's time for Fantastic Fridays with Awesome Amy, Ranting Rex, and Rockin Robbie. And today we're going to be rounding up some of the comic book movie news of the week. Let's bring in Rex and Amy. How are y'all doing?
Hey, what's up? And to be clear, I want to
that intro gets better every time. Thank you, Robbie. I love it. I love it so much.
But I want to clear up something. He gave bad information. The category is best hair, not necessarily best beard, correct? It's overall hair.
The category is best hair, beard, or hands. And allegedly, I don't want to confuse anybody because they put me down as best beard, but I'm considering it as best hair and beard, if that makes sense.
Can you expand to hands and hair?
Well, they have somebody that's nominated for. I don't know why hands is in the same category as hair, but that's out of my wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
I have to say, I find that a little odd.
I do too. I mean, unless this guy's got super hairy hands, which he doesn't, but it is what it is. But why don't you elaborate? Would you all elaborate a little bit on the 2,500 subscriber giveaway when we hit that number on The Experience?
All right, so if we can get there by Cyber Saturday, which is not this coming Saturday, tomorrow, but the next Saturday, all right, we're going to be doing 25 different giveaways, all right, throughout the shows that broadcast on The Experience. So, last time we did it, when we got to 1,500, we gave away 15 slabs. So every time we hit a milestone in terms of subscribers as we grow, we usually do these big giveaways. So whatever you can do, help us out. Marcus, apparently hair, beard, and hands is all together. Okay.
Yeah. And Marcus, if you see categories and you don't want to vote for them, you don't have to vote for those. You can just vote for the categories that I'm included in if you so feel inclined. That being said, I would appreciate if you would vote for Officially Unofficial Geek for Best Unknown Channel, because she's a friend of the show and we'd like to see her succeed.
Woohoo!
All right. So let's get into it. Lots of comic book news. I'm sorry, what's that? What'd you say?
I said I was talking to Amy. I still haven't figured out how to retract my vote for you.
It's a little too late for that. I appreciate all the support and all the votes, though. We hope we win some of these awards. The award ceremony will be next month. So very excited. All right. We got a lot of comic book movie news this week. We thought maybe we finished with comic book movie news over the last couple weeks, but no. Now that the actor strike is over, we're probably going to start getting a lot more of these announcements, right? So the first announcement that I want to talk about is Pedro Pascal, who we know from The Mandalorian. I know him from Game of Thrones. A lot of people know him from The Last of Us, which I have not seen. A lot of people, unfortunately, also remember him from Wonder Woman 84. But that was not his fault.
He was excellent.
Yeah, he was good in that movie.
He was very good.
We're allowed to count that.
Yeah. I thought his role was the manic, super rich guy that got all his wishes. He played that role to a T.
He did. So Pedro Pascal is right now in final contract negotiations to play Reed Richards in the 2025 Marvel Studios Fantastic Four movie. This news, this choice of Pedro Pascal, to me, kind of comes out of nowhere. He was never part of that conversation that everybody was having. People were talking about Adam Driver. People were talking about John Krasinski. I never heard this name mentioned. And when I first heard it, I was immediately like, really? But the more that this news has set in my soul, the more excited I am for this, because he's one of the hottest actors right now. in the nerd community, especially, everybody knows who he is. I think this is going to be, I think his name attached to this project will give this project a wider appeal than I think it would have if it would have been somebody else. I don't know. What do y'all think? Amy, let's kick it off with you. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. What do you think?
Well, obviously, we've seen enough work of his that we know he can pretty much do anything. I think my only concern is he a little, are we using him a little too much? That's really my, like, because he's in Star Wars. He's The Last of Us is super successful. Is he in too many things? But otherwise, I still like the idea of his cast. I know there's so many names went around for Reed Richards, but if it is officially him, I'm not going to complain. I think he'll still do a good job. I also I know they want at least one big name for Fantastic Four, and whether it was going to be with Reed Richards or Doctor Doom. I guess you could debate on which character needs the bigger name, but if they go with Pedro for Reed Richards, it's still a pull. It's a big pull. If it's officially
I agree.
him.
He's definitely a pull because, I mean, think about those shows and those movies like Last of Us and Game of Thrones and Mandalorian. We're talking about some of the biggest nerd community shows of the last 10, 15 years that this dude's been attached to. Now, he was nominated for an Emmy for Last of Us, right? I think he was.
I think he was.
I haven't seen it yet either, but I hear it's really, really good.
So did I.
I only haven't watched it because I'm not in the video game world in my product movie, but it was on my watch list, and the pieces of it I've seen and how I hear everyone praise it. I want to get around to it eventually. I really, really do. Hopefully before the Emmys, and they're not going to do that until January. So
one of the things I really like about the casting of Pedro Pascal is that Reed is not going to be like a 20-year-old in this movie. You know, we want a professional scientist who. Well, he's supposed to be the smartest guy in the MCU, right? Yeah, he's supposed to be one of the smartest guys. I heard John Campea say that. He goes, I like the fact that he's a man. He's grown. That means he's had time in his life to become the smartest man in the universe, right? Or the smartest man in the world. And as much as I was excited for the last Josh Trank Fantastic Four film, it didn't quite work for me. And I do think that you need this kind of I don't know, man. I really when Robert Downey Jr. was cast as Iron Man, he's no kid. You know what I'm saying? I think you need to kind of have that veteran kind of feel to really make that character believable in his experience. What do you think, Rex?
Well, I think that there's always going to be pushback when you talk about an FF movie. Okay. They've tried it so many times. They have failed so many times at it. The one in the 90s, the Reed Richards, the actor, he's a British actor. So not only did he have to fit in a role, he had to work on making sure his accent was an American accent, right? So, it was never quite the right fit. The screenplay was horrible. They turned the first movie, the Sue Storm, Doctor Doom, Reed Richards' love triangle thing was ridiculous. Okay. It wasn't something that took hold. So not sure why they did that. Pedro Pascal, I saw KG, didn't think, don't really see him in that role. John Krasinski was a bad move. I'll tell you why. Because there's no way we're ever going to associate him with anything other than The Office. It's just he played that role for too long. I mean, let's call it what it is. He's had a few other roles. It's been okay. All right, but still he's a TV series guy who not only is trying to break out of what was his primary role that put him on the map, which was a comedy, but then leap into movies. That's a big jump. You're making two big jumps.
But he is a good director, though.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But Pedro Pascal, I mean, let's look at the roles he's been in. All of them. I mean, we can't look at all of them, but of late, okay, Kingsman, he played he played the guy that you didn't think was evil, who turned out to be evil, played that really well. You brought it up, Wonder Woman, playing the manic Max Lord, and just rushing around trying to be good dad. even though people did not embrace that movie, I thought he played that role in an excellent way. To Mandalorian, a guy who was constantly wearing a mask, okay, and very
is that
stoic.
his voice on the show most of the time? Like is he only on set for that one episode where he takes his mask off and then the rest of the time it's just his voice?
Who knows? Maybe.
I have heard that it is him under the mask throughout most of it for some reason, but I wouldn't be surprised if this dude's just doing voice acting. But allegedly, it's actually him.
I only ask that because again, he has two big. Again, Mandalorian's a huge show, and Last of Us is a huge show. I'm just scheduling. That's the only reason I ask. It's just how we're able to do it all. Like, and that just seems maybe that's the smartest way to do it, is just only be there for the days where you know you're going to have his mask off, and then otherwise it's just voice.
So KG, I understand what you're saying. Okay, Jack, I haven't watched A Quiet Place, so I can't comment.
A Quiet Place, I do think successfully turned him into a movie star. I think not a movie star, but like
But the Jack Ryan character has been done by so many different actors at this point, so that's a little. I don't want to say he didn't do a good job. I really liked what he did, but the problem is that's a character we've been trained as an audience to accept a different actor in the role. So I kind of
you're cutting out.
I think that's kind of a.
I think y'all are cutting out.
Landing failures as movies. With I think we had a trivia question yesterday with Bueller, and I think that the worst FF movie now.
Yep, you're cutting in and out, Rex.
The one they made last, because even the Corman movie now, it's to make sure that somebody like Pascal can do it. Did we go dead again?
Yeah, I guess you didn't hear me. I was trying to you were cutting in and out. We were getting little pieces of you, Rex, a little bit there.
And you know what? We watched that whole trailer, no problem. I don't know what it is. But what I'm saying is that it's just been such a hard road, and it's got so much baggage now. There's already an anticipation, no matter who plays a role, no matter who they cast. There's always going to it's always going to be, well, the other four really sucked. So that's a huge kind of mountain to get over. And I think Pascal could probably do it if the screenplay is right, the rest of the casting is right. He can carry it. I know a lot of people don't see it that way, but you got to admit, Pedro Pascal has not allowed himself to be typecast. He has played so many different characters, so many different roles, showed so many, the good guy, the bad guy, the evil guy, the stoic guy, the guy who's manic. I think that he probably is one of the few actors that can pull it off.
Yeah, the news really excites me because it shows to me like a level of confidence or expectation that the MCU will have on this Fantastic Four movie, right? Like they feel like they need to, first of all, I feel like Marvel knows that they need to kind of course correct. I think that they're working on that as we speak. I think these are all part of it. This announcement, it gets me very, very excited. And then when you start thinking about the idea that recently has come out this week as well, that the director of Avengers Kang Dynasty and the writer of Avengers Kang Dynasty have left the project because the rumors are pretty much basically almost confirming, it seems, that they are moving away from the Kang story and into something else. And a lot of people, you've heard these rumors that they want to do Doctor Doom instead of Kang now, and that it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Jonathan Majors, but with the lack of success they found with Ant-Man, Quantumania, right? And after hearing some of the chatter that they're moving away from the Kang story, and I've heard a lot of people say that that's probably for the best because they've already kind of neutered him as a character in that Ant-Man movie, which I still haven't seen, but they're like, they kind of like, when you put your next big threat in an Ant-Man movie and have Ant-Man handle it, it doesn't feel like this is supposed to be Thanos level at this point anymore, right? So if they did Doctor Doom, this Avengers whatever was going to be Kang Dynasty, if that is on schedule to follow up Fantastic Four. So Fantastic Four could introduce you to Doctor Doom. You could carry that thread into the Avengers and then into Secret Wars, and it seems like it would work very fine. And if they're going to do it right, in order to have Doctor Doom work, you got to have a very interesting and believable and firm and powerful leadership qualities out of whoever your Reed Richards is going to be. And I think that this actually really excites me. At first, I was like, that's not who I would see in the role. But the more I think about it, the more I get into it. Now it's actually got me wanting to watch The Last of Us. So I get to see him do something more than, because in Game of Thrones, he was a certain type of character. In Mandalorian, he's very stoic. You don't really get to see a lot of his performance visually. And so I would like to see Last of Us, to see like the chops that this dude can bring, because I hear he's fantastic in that movie. No pun intended. But the idea that they're removing the director and the writer, and it's all amicable, and there's nothing, and it's like the director was the director of Shang-Chi, and now he's going to be working on Shang-Chi 2 instead. And so it just seems like they are moving away from the Kang story, and you got a Fantastic Four movie into maybe a movie where you're going to go Avengers into Doctor Doom into Secret Wars. That sounds like that absolutely makes sense to me.
Well, we all know that with John Majors, that was the Ezra Miller factor, and that totally played a role. No matter what they say, it totally played a role. The lack of success of Ant-Man helped them, make that easy decision, if you will. But it definitely had something to do with it.
Oh, I'm sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree, OUG. It helps say, oh, well, numbers on Ant-Man were really bad, so we have to move in a different direction. But you can see this thing; it's unfolding. It's not settled. It's still complicated.
I still thought if they just wrote it the right way, they could still do something with Kang. Because really, and Aquaman, Kang is technically still a problem because there's still an infinite number of him. Even if the one we met in that one
but you gotta look
didn't end up being the biggest, there's still one that could be.
But you got to look at it this way. All right, this situation with him, there are more twists, right? Okay, the domestic battery thing. So who knows what's going to happen? So all of a sudden you get into it, you start expanding the Kang dynasty, and you start doing all that stuff, and then 6 months down the road, he's it goes to court and he's found guilty. I mean, you're going to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into producing this beyond just the one movie, but the entire universe. And you're going to risk it on what may or may not happen in court. So and not to diminish, obviously this is something beyond the world of comics and movies and everything else. But, you got to realize that that's a huge gamble, a huge risk. Who's going to, who's going to invest that kind of money on something that's so unknown? The only time that happens is in the NFL. Okay. Yeah. Deshaun Watson. That's the only time we'll throw money around on total gamble. But
so, and I hear what Mark is. So I haven't watched Loki season 2 yet, but I have heard that too. That at the end of Loki season 2, they mentioned that the TVA is hunting down all the Kang variants and just basically kind of. I think they're wrapping it up. I don't know what y'all watched Loki, right?
It was great.
Actually, yeah.
It was really good. I do understand, Marcus. I guess if they just want to leave it there, the TVA has the Kang problem handle. I guess
and then kind of lock that up. Boop, that's out of the way now. We don't have to worry about it.
But it definitely seems like that's what's going on when you remove a director and a writer and they're still working on projects for you. That means that the movie that was Avengers Kang Dynasty is just not going to happen anymore. And they're going in a different direction. And I think with focusing news on Fantastic Four, the idea and the rumblings, because, I think a lot of these studios will put out these rumors themselves to try to pick up on what the chatter is going to be. And so when that Doctor Doom over Kang news started really picking up steam, I think they were like, this is the way to go. Let's make a good Fantastic Four movie. We can introduce Doom. We can carry that into something else and lead into Secret Wars. Because why would you do Secret Wars if Doctor Doom is not going to be a central character?
Yeah, it totally feels like they're switching gears, right? Completely. So, and that's fine. You can see the writing on the wall. It's a shame because as I'm watching Loki, I appreciate John Majors as an actor. Okay, he does have a lot of range playing all these different variations of Kang. but it's unfortunate, that what has happened, and again, the lack of success that Marvel's had of late made it very easy for them to use that as the reason. Okay, we got to move in a different direction. The movies haven't done well. Ant-Man didn't do well, so we got to move on. Okay, so maybe that's a smart move anyway, because it wasn't working. As great as John Majors is as an actor, it wasn't enticing enough. I don't know. There was something about Thanos that was different, if you will. I don't know. You look at Thanos, and maybe that was a magic to the character. Thanos was not truly an evil guy. Okay. Well, he was ruthless, but he wasn't evil. His ultimate goal wasn't really evil. It was twisted, but you can sort of see that. You treat
your children like that, you're evil.
Well, I would say this. Okay.
You want to kill half of, I don't care what your reasoning, man. You want to kill half the population, bro. You're not a good person.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, when you look at that, I'll take an example from human history. Okay. One of the worst things, the reason that the People's Republic of China had a one-child policy for so long was that during the dictatorship of Mao, he believed that, well, we don't have a lot of natural resources, but human beings are a natural resource. So we encouraged everybody to have as many kids as possible, and they would be the human resource to build the country up. Didn't work. Which ended up with was the largest population on the face of the earth. And there's only so much pie to move around. So what seemed barbaric at the time, okay, was the one-child policy. But at a point where the growth was going, there was no way they were going to be able to support the population. Now it's bit them in the butt because it's come back. Now it's looking like it's through all the decades of one-child policy. Now they're not going to have enough people to pay for the old people when they get old. So the point being that although I don't agree, I can see where Thanos' theory was coming from. There are too many people that populate the universe. If we cut in half, the half that survive can have a better life than if we did nothing. So in that sense, I'm not saying that he wasn't evil, but he wasn't truly evil in that sense.
He wasn't just mustache twirling world domination, right?
Yes. Yes, he had a higher goal in mind. It's just that he had to implement all this evil in order to achieve it.
I will just say this though. So his whole goal is to get all of the Infinity Gems, aka stones, so that he can snap away half the universe because there's not enough resources. Why not go double the resources? I mean, right? You can snap with snap of your fingers. You can kill half the universe. So there's enough resources, or you could also double the resources.
Well, that's something for a writer. That's something for a writer to.
The other whole thing about is like he's the one that he has this complex of like, oh, I have to be the one to do it. I'm gonna save the universe. Like no one asked you to save the universe. We didn't ask you to help fix our problems. Let's fix our own problems. Like
that is a very good point, and most megalomaniacs do that. But I like what KG Comics said. KG says, Thanos had a monstrous nature to him that Kang wouldn't have. Okay? And at the end, let's think about it. When they kill Thanos, where do they find him? Okay? He didn't take all his power and, have all these slaves and live in a huge castle and fortress. Okay? He lived in a little shack. He was making something for himself to eat. Okay? So his goal was not to empower himself, so to speak. It was doing what he thought was helping the universe, although we may disagree. We all do. But you see what I'm saying? So he was evil, but he wasn't at the same token. I don't know. The whole Kang thing was, when they have all these variants and we saw him as what's the murder
hobo. I'm sorry. OG, great comment.
So
great comment.
So, what's the human character that Kang, the guy with the glasses, and in the
Victor
episode,
Timely?
Yes, Timely. That's right. That kind of ruined it for me, in a little bit. It just kind of became, well, he's this dude who eventually becomes this dude because he discovered all this stuff.
Well, not all the Kang variants are evil.
No, I
Okay.
understand that. But what I'm saying is that I don't know. It just he didn't seem like, you know, Kang had a kind of monstrous, as KG put it. Well, yes, I agree with that, but monstrous in the sense that, snap of the fingers, he can eliminate half the population. That he's actively seeking the Infinity Stones to do this one thing. But Kang seems all over the place. I don't know. It just did not seem like the ultimate evil guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it definitely didn't capture the imagination of the audience like Thanos did, for sure. Or the attention, I should say, right? It definitely didn't. And I think that this is the right thing to do. All right, let's switch gears to the other about to be rebooted cinematic superhero universe, DC. And with all the Marvel stuff this week, I think Amy even was like, yo, this got overshadowed for me. I didn't even notice it, but they cast
I heard about this now. Like,
one of the villains in Superman Legacy. Now, this is interesting to unpack for me. So first of all, they cast Maria Gabriela de Faria. I probably butchered that name. I'm not familiar with her work whatsoever, but
Me
they
neither.
cast her as
Anybody
the
out there?
engineer. All right. So Warren Ellis's Authority with Brian Hitch. That version of the engineer, Angela Spica, something like that. They cast her. But they also say she's been cast as the engineer, one of the villains in Superman Legacy. All right, let me unpack this real quick. Number one, the Authority, right? We already know there's an Authority movie coming, right? We now got our first official casting of a member of the Authority, the engineer. Okay, wait a second. Did they say villains? One of the villains of Superman? Okay. Superman Legacy, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about that. We already have Guy Gardner in the movie. We got Mr. Terrific in the movie. We got Hawkwoman in the movie. We got Superman. It's about legacy. I really feel like I know what the inspiration for this Superman movie is going to be now. And I am very, very certain that it's Action Comics 775 by Joe Kelly. Because in that book, as a direct response. So in the late 90s, we got this whole like anti-hero vibe coming in. The Authority is a big part of that. They are superheroes who are trying to do the right thing by doing all of the wrong things to get there. They believe, like Thanos, that the ends justify the means. So Joe Kelly did this one issue of Action Comics where he comes up against, and at the time, the Wildstorm universe was still separated from DC. So he had to create his own version of the Authority for the DC universe. They called them the Elite, right? Manchester Black was a big part of that. He wore the Union Jack on his shirt, very much like Jenny Sparks of the Authority did. So that issue, and which is called, and on the cover, it's great. It's like, what's so funny about peace? What's so funny about truth, justice, and the American way, which is a reference to the Elvis Costello fan. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? In that one, Superman comes up against an Authority-type team called the Elite, and they're trying to prove in a way thematically that Superman is outdated as a concept. He is too much of a Boy Scout. He doesn't actually get things done. We want harder, edgier superheroes who actually get the job done. That's what's going on. That's exactly what this movie is, in my opinion. We're talking about the legacy of Superman. What does that mean? We got these other DC heroes in there. We're dealing with the legacy of DC heroism as juxtapositioned against something like the Authority. I think the Authority are not going to end as villains, but I think that conflict between what Superman represents and what a team like the Authority represents, that is so, to me, right, perfect for what James Gunn can bring to this project and would really be a great exploration for a modern cinematic audience of why Superman still does matter, because that's what that book did. The book let you know that Superman is still relevant, even in the midst of all of this. So I am so freaking excited about this. Y'all, we're getting, like, I love it. Okay, we're not getting another Superman movie where Lex Luthor's the main villain trying to steal land. Okay, I'm super excited about that. He's going to be going up against not just people who are a physical threat to him, because the Authority, I mean, we're talking about alien technology, we're talking about quantum mechanics, we're talking about magic, we're talking about all these things that could actually give Superman a run for his money, but thematically, that is a strong conflict for me, especially in a day where most people go, do we even need a Superman movie? All right. That's me quickly unpacking that. What do y'all think?
I love that whole explanation. Like, did I first hear when I'm hearing all these castings? I'm like, is it James Gunn? As much as I trust you, does it feel like there's too much? There's going to be too much in this movie? But the way, really, just what the story itself is, seeing Superman inspiring others for good, or inspiring others to try to, maybe not do his way of doing things. Like, really, your explanation of that story is really what sold it for me. And yes, that's what the movie's going to be. Then I'm excited as well.
Nice. Oh yeah, I should clip that up, Verno. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time. I got a show about Thanksgiving I got to do tonight and tomorrow, Verno. But that's a great idea. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just do one on my own. And I really think now that Action Comics 775 is about to spike in price again, and that's just such a great single issue of Superman. It's one of the best ever. Rex, any thoughts?
Well, I feel like this announcement was trying to, I don't know, not allow the MCU to steal all their thunder this week. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that announcement was, hey, we're still here. Remember us? We made that crappy Flash movie. Hey, don't forget about us. It's an actress, and I don't know her, have not seen her work. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that. So she's not obviously a big name, so I'm not really sure what the significance of it is, because really what we're down to right now is I'm a big James Gunn fan. You know that when they named him the head at DC, for the projects, you are, Amy is. Mm-hmm. We've been waiting a long time. And we realized that when he signed on, the movies that came out were not under his direction, so to speak, or his vision. He had to clean it up. So we've had Black Adam, we've had Flash, we've had, okay. So we've had Blue Beetle. So we're getting to the point where I kind of feel like, James, you need to put up or shut up, man. This better be a great movie, because you're getting to that point where I think you're going to lose them if Superman Legacy comes out and it sucks. I like the James Gunn flair. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy, we keep going back to that, and how that was independent of the universe in a sense. Can he do that with Superman Legacy? We hope so. But at this point, I'm just like, you know what, dude, get the movie out. You're losing us. You're losing us fast.
OUG, I'm not as familiar with Manchester Black, so I can't really pick, and I can't pick someone to play them out of my mind right away.
I say Robbie.
I would be down for that. I'd have to get in better shape probably. Manchester Black is basically like he's like Jenny Sparks, but if you're not super familiar with the Authority, he's very much like a John Constantine type character. Okay. For sure. So you need somebody that's like British. You need somebody that's snarky like that. Maybe Keanu Reeves, because apparently he's British. He played Constantine. So why not? I'm just kidding. Do not cast him. You know who would actually be?
I'm glad he did not try the British accent when he was playing that role.
Dude, he already did that in Dracula, and I bet the director Constantine was like, nah. Well, yeah, they're like, nah, dude, don't worry about it. We're just be you. I hear there's such a fandom for that movie, that Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, that I just didn't like, because I was immediately thrown off that he wasn't British or anything like that. So, like, I don't know. I need to revisit that movie, because it does have Gavin Rossdale in it from Bush, and I like him. Here's a really good pick for Manchester Black. Would actually be Carl Urban from The Boys. He would. I like him, actor. He would.
Dr. McCoy.
He would. Yeah, Dr. McCoy. He's what's his name in Lord of the Rings. Starts with an R.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Dread. Oh my goodness, his Dread. I love his Dread. Oh my god, I love his Dread.
The Vin Diesel movie. The second one?
Triple X?
No. The sci-fi one. Pitch Black.
Oh, Pitch Black. Okay.
No, but it was the second one.
Yeah. Chronicles of Riddick. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I think the guy's got range, man. He played McCoy. You know, he's another one. Kind of like I see him kind of like Pedro Pascal. You know, he's got a lot of range. Just ended up playing a lot of different types of characters.
Yeah,
and just done well in all of them. Okay, The Boys. You know, I really like him as an actor.
I'm planning on doing something Sunday night during Rockin Robbie Live that's going to be related to this discussion and that specific issue that I'm talking about. So I hope everybody pays attention to that, because that's definitely, and right now, it's not the cheapest comic right now, but it's not ridiculous. But I would recommend anybody go out and check out Action Comics 775 if you get the chance. So, hey, it's Bueller. What is up?
The significance of him mentioning Sigourney Weaver is yesterday when we were on his channel doing our show, we discovered that if Travis doesn't know an actor or a celebrity or whatever, his go-to is Sigourney Weaver. If you ask him a question, who is in this movie? And he can't answer it, Sigourney Weaver. Who is this actor with? Sigourney Weaver. So nice. Clearly, Travis has always had a crush on Sigourney Weaver. You see where I'm going here?
OUG, the guy that played the kicker in The Replacements is the guy that plays Vision, Paul Bettany, right? No. It's the guy that played the Lizard. It's the guy that played the Lizard, yes. Jonathan something, right? Yeah.
Correct. In Spider-Man, yes. Oh, OUG. I love that movie, The Replacements. I'm sorry. That had to be one of the best movies I ever saw. Not expecting it to be that way, but I was living in Washington D.C. during that period during the strike year, so it kind of had more significance for me. But the kicker, well, you know, when he's takes his shirt off at the bar and starts screaming and singing like a soccer hooligan, it was awesome.
I love it, dude. He's like drinking pints when he's like walking on the field, you know, like he's just there because he kicks really hard, man. That's such a great movie, man. We talked about that before.
I want to go back and watch it again.
But yeah, we talked about that when we did our best football movies. We brought that one up, man. That's such a good movie.
It was, did not see it coming. Keanu Reeves, it just had the right mix, right?
Orlando Bloom. Oh man, I can't be seeing somebody throw up. I'll start throwing up, man.
And then his relationship with the bar owner, it just all sort of worked. It was crazy how that worked, and it was based off that strike year, the Redskins. That's crazy. So but I love that movie, and that was a weird one. Did not expect to see Keanu in that one.
Rex, we got Marcus with a request that maybe if you guys can find any Action Comics 775s, that'd be a good thing to bring onto our show for the experience, for sure.
We'll take a look, buddy. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Thank you, Marcus.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic. So we talked about Marvel. We talked about DC. And there's another cinematic universe out there that's not really attached to either of them. And it's the Sony Spider-Verse. Not the animated movies, which are amazing. But there's a Madam Web trailer that debuted this week. And I saw our good buddy, extraordinarily awesome producer Jay, was on socials and he was like, hey, everybody, I've seen a lot of negative stuff about this trailer. I want all superhero movies to succeed. Let's just wait and see. And I appreciate Jay so much. But I'll tell you this. I watched that movie and I was like, this movie's going to suck, man. I hated that trailer.
You watched the trailer.
What's that?
You watched the trailer.
I watched the trailer. The movie might be good, but I'm going to tell y'all something. I have no faith in Sony by themselves doing any Spider-Man movie unless it's animated and connected to the Spider-Verse, because I don't like either of the Venom films. I haven't seen Morbius, so maybe Morbius would change my mind. Kraven looked dumb to me too. This movie, the vibe and feel I'm getting from it is like 90s made for TV superhero movie. I'm feeling like Generation X vibes off of this. I don't know. This trailer did not do anything for me to make me feel like we're in good hands with Sony. What did y'all think though? You may think differently.
It's fun. I think it looks fine. Like it could be really good or it could be really bad. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. Like
any movie that you see, I mean, any movie that comes out could potentially be that way. But I got to be honest with you, I liked the trailer. I thought there was enough to try to tell you the storyline with enough action sequences kind of filtered in there. But what I see is there is, a story that is not connected, that does not need to be connected to a wider universe. It's interesting enough. It carries enough stars that that part of it, there should be enough star power to get it on the map in that sense. But I kind of see it like Blade, to be honest with you. This may be something that could be successful because it is self-contained and it's interesting enough. You can see the future, or but parts of it, there's somebody chasing you. There is a mother, something in the past that somebody's trying to change the outcome. There's enough for me that it kind of reminds me a little of Blade. We don't need to have 5 Spider-Man show up to this.
No, you just need 5 Spider-Women to show up to this. I first of all, very offended that you're comparing this to Blade, Rex, but I'm going to try to get over that. I will also just admittedly say, I do not like the Sony live action Spider movies, like that are not connected with the MCU. Like, I like Homecoming a lot. I like No Way Home. Far From Home's okay. I don't like the Andrew Garfield movies whatsoever. Like, I don't like either of those. I don't like the Venom movies. I just don't
watch that again.
Okay.
The whole series. And I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it.
The Andrew Garfield ones?
It was. Again, I think
he's a great Spider-Man.
I think we keep trying to
Andrew Garfield? Y'all, wait, we were talking about Andrew Garfield right now, right?
Yep.
He's a great Spider-Man.
I appreciated it. It was better. The second go around when I watched it, kind of binged it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. It went well. I thought I didn't think it was bad at all.
Yeah, I totally in my head when I think of Peter Parker, think of like this dude who's like super emo and way too cool for school, and he's like skateboarding down the hallways. Yeah, that's totally what I think. I hate those movies. I hate those movies so much. But that's just I don't care if y'all like them. That's fine. The thing that offends me the most is that you're comparing Madam Web trailer to the Blade movie, and I get what you're saying about the potential and the possibility. But man, what has Sony done to show me that they can do this, that they could pull this off? Like, the other thing is, so I'm biased against Sony doing Spider movies.
They haven't done anything to prove that to you, okay? What are you
talking about, dude? They did the Venom movies. Like, I don't think that they
could do that. They haven't done anything to prove to earn your trust. I get that, okay? Yeah. But by the same token, the MCU is still cashing checks from Endgame. And we keep going back because, so, after a certain point, it's been, let's call it what it is. Failure after failure after failure. Guardians of the Galaxy ends failure after failure. So what are they proving to you other than for the last several years, our movies are crap? And we've been churning it out like out of an assembly line. Okay, TV show, movie, TV show, movie, TV show, movie. All right. I'm taking that trailer, disregarding Sony, taking that trailer for what it is. And there, it tells me what direction their storyline trying to go to. Mm-hmm. They're showing us, okay, we got action, we got CGI. Interesting enough. So when the Blade trailer came out, which I haven't seen in years, how much more did you see?
Oh, that Blade trailer gave me everything I needed to know, brother. I'm telling you, man.
I don't remember the trailer. Okay. But
I very specifically remember seeing that trailer, man. Like, they did the time lapse of the sun setting. They showed the city and the street lights and just Wesley with all the. And here's the thing, though. I was already a fan of the character of Blade, right? Madam Web, not super big fan of the character. Most of these Spider-Women characters, like I like them, but like, I don't know. The thing is, I'm already biased against Sony live action Spider-Man movies that are not part of Marvel Studios, right? And I am really puzzled that why are you doing a Madam Web movie to begin with? And then the third thing, I'm like, okay, so it's like Groundhog Day, Happy Death Day, but with Spider-Women, I guess. I don't know. Amy, what did you think about the trailer?
Like I said, I understand what Rex is saying. Like, yes, interesting concept, trying to stop, a little bit of time travel, trying to stop things from happening. But like, it could go either way. It could actually be a fun, good movie, or it's just not gonna be that, or it's just not gonna be that good.
I guess this is something we talked about before, and I think part of why you're seeing some failures, okay, of late, is because I think they've forgotten that, MCU, DCU, they're forgetting why Blade was successful. How many people saw Blade never ever realizing that it was a comic book character?
Yeah, it was just a vampire action movie with Wesley Snipes.
Right. So if you're just depending on the comic fans, you're always going to be losing money. Because here's the thing. All in all, no matter what, you may not go to the movie theater. You may have a down day, nothing to do. But eventually you're going to watch Madam Web, probably, right? Amy
More
Will's
likely,
wife.
yeah.
Okay, John went and saw Morbius twice, okay, and complained about it each time. So they got his money. Now, in order to be a success, you got to go get somebody else's money who doesn't normally, follow comic books or whatever. That's what I mean by Madam Web perhaps having that, because you look at it, and in the trailer, unless you're a real comic book fan and familiar with the Spider-Verse, it may not make that much sense. You may not see the connection right away. Okay, it may just be, oh, look at that. Okay, a strong female character. Younger female co-stars, okay, all right, and empowering women, and look at all this action, and look, and there's about time travel. Maybe you're trying to appeal to a bigger audience, and I got to say that's probably the smartest move that anybody's made up to this point.
See, the thing is, though, I get what you're saying. Like, when Blade came out, nobody necessarily knew that was a comic book movie, and they didn't market it as that. This is marketed as a superhero comic book movie. This is marketed as a spider vehicle movie. This is using that as its marketing. Like, I don't know. It's honestly my opinion about those Venom movies and those Andrew Garfield movies that's making me like just so discount this whole thing. To be honest with you.
Here's the thing though. There's no way to not market it that way in this day and age. Okay? Because it's seen as a bonus. Back when Blade was made, it wasn't necessarily seen as a plus. Okay, don't tell them it's from a comic book. That'll probably chase people away. So you're living in a different time as well. So the way you're going to mark that movie is going to be different. But what I saw was elements where it was not too heavy-handed. Okay, we'll see. If there's a whole mess of cameos, then you're just going down the same path as everything else that's come out. But if it's
like if you put Michael Keaton in it for no damn reason, right?
Multiple times, twice. Every incarnation of Spider-Man shows up at the end, with their masks off, high-fiving each other. Do we need that? No. So
see, we'll see. And knowing what I know about the Spider-Man books, right? Like, they're using Ezekiel the way that they should be using Moreland, and for some reason they're not using Moreland. They're using Ezekiel for that, which is weird for me. And I think the obvious, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'll watch it. I'll watch it with an open mind. Even like, I want to be entertained by these movies, right? No matter what I thought about what the Marvels was going to be, when I sat down, I tried to take that expectation out. When I was watching Thanksgiving by Eli Roth last night, I had to try very hard to remove 16 years of what I think this movie is going to be. Right, on a positive end. So like, sometimes you can overhype yourself positively, and sometimes you can overhype yourself negatively, right? And so when I go into a movie theater, I do try to just like turn it off and enjoy the movie for what it is. I will do that when I watch Madam Web. I'll give it a fair shot. But if I'm going to be really serious about this, I guess I got to watch Morbius too, because I haven't seen that one yet. So who knows? Maybe I'll like it.
So I think that, I think that most people will say that Loki was this season was a success. And I think that part of the reason it's been successful is you took Loki and you changed the character in a sense. You know what I mean? Without over laboring the crossovers and everything else. But this version of Loki is very different from the version of Loki that we've seen in the movies. And it's become its own little self-contained universe. That worked. That's what I'm thinking, maybe right or wrong, because a 4-minute trailer can't tell you very much. But maybe Madam Web can chase that same game.
You know, the other thing too, like, it's not even the studios that make these trailers anymore, right? Like, they like usually give it to another company to kind of cut together the trailers. And here's another thing. That first Wolverine movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine, that trailer was awesome. I love that trailer. Out of 5 you digs, I would give that trailer a 5. That movie though blows, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So like, trailers can be misleading in a myriad of ways.
Trailers are always the best, right? The best out of the movies that they're trying to entice you to come in the theater. So it's always going to be the best shots. So that is, if you come away from a trailer and you think, and I don't think the trailer was bad, but obviously you have a certain sort of prejudice against, Sony and whatever. So you already have that in the back of your mind. The trailer in and of itself, I didn't think was bad, but if a trailer is bad, then you can expect the whole movie is going to be bad, right? Because if this is the best part of the movie that you just put together and cut together, man, and it sucks, then the rest of it's going to be even suckier, right? So that's the one thing you can tell from trailers. Okay, the fact that it's a good trailer doesn't mean the movie's going to be good, but a bad trailer guarantees the movie's going to be bad.
I just want to address this real quick because I get so tired of this kind of stuff. Billy, I love you. Here's the thing. If a movie came out today about a black vampire hunter whose mother was killed by a white vampire, bit by him, changed. And so basically there's a theme in Blade about how like the white community preys on the black community. There's a theme in that, right? If that movie came out today, people would be crying woke. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm just trying to say that is a legitimate theme in the Blade character and in the Blade movie about this dude's mom, who is a person of color, and a woman who got raped and infected by a white male who's also rich. Okay, so like there's these elements in there that many people today would say go woke, go broke, but like there's nothing wrong with themes exploring like this kind of stuff. So I'm just over the whole woke thing because it's like the term hipster. It means different things to different people. And I want to reclaim woke back for what it's actually supposed to mean. And that means like being aware of the social injustices in particular against the black community. So yeah, I think Blade is a woke movie in my opinion. So there you go. Anyway.
Well said, Robbie. But I'll go a step back even further, okay, to what woke really means. It means what I do every morning and every afternoon if I'm taking a nap. That's what it means. Okay? All right, it doesn't mean anything more than that to me. Okay. Social injustice is social injustice. It's not easy, it's not clean. Okay, but all of us at the end of the day should know right from wrong. All right. And any of us that have raised children know what we try to instill in our children, what is right or wrong. Okay. And I'm going to be the first one. I'm always going to stick up for the little man. I'm always going to stick up for the underdog. That's something I learned from my father. I remember watching college football and college basketball with him. Right. I'm saying, who's playing? I come in the room, who's playing? He goes, so-and-so and so-and-so, no skin in the game. We didn't like either team. I said, well, which team are you rooting for? He goes, the one that's losing. I go, why? He goes, what could be more fun than to watch the losing team, okay, overcome that obstacle and beat the winning team? I'm like, good point. Right. So I'm like that to this day. I watch an NFL game, say it's the Browns and the Bengals. I don't care. Right. I turn it on. It's on. Who do I want to win? Whoever is down from the moment I turned it on. Okay. I love to see crazy stuff like last minute field goal, like that one game where they missed one and then the penalty was called. They got a second shot at it. I don't even remember which game. If it's not an Eagles game or a Dallas game, that's what I'm rooting for. Okay. So he missed it. I'm like, oh, penalty. Ooh, second shot. Now I want him to make it because that's dramatic. Right. So I'm always sticking for the little guy, so I totally agree with you.
I just hope that the next time the Eagles come up against the Cowboys, you root for the underdog then, bro.
Yeah, I said except for Eagles and Cowboys. Didn't I say that already? I had that disclaimer. Okay. The Eagles are beating Dallas into the dust like the way you beat the Giants. I'm cheering for every field goal, every touchdown. Yes. Don't stop now. Okay.
No, I feel what you're saying. I love seeing, especially in sports, I love seeing the underdog win. But yeah, when it comes to my teams, bro, like, yeah, I'm
That's
like,
a
don't change the
whole
channel.
other
We may be up 40-7, but I want to watch the rest of this game anyway. All right.
I know.
I think that brings us to the end of the conversation. So what do y'all got coming up? And everybody go sub up the EXP because you want to get in
Please.
on these awesome giveaways, y'all.
We are going to have awesome giveaways starting. I forget, but the close off date is going to be Cyber Saturday, next Saturday, not tomorrow. And if we reach 2,500 subs, we will start making announcements on how the giveaways are going to work. And tonight, obviously on the XP at 7 p.m. Eastern, Nick will be here with the original art. There's some beautiful, very high-end pizzas.
Great deals tonight. We have
for the hardcore
layouts.
collects.
We have a lot of Spider-Man.
But there's some reasonable stuff too for the less.
We're gonna have a couple best offers.
Hardcore collectors. Yeah, but there's some beautiful pieces. I mean, really one of a kind, high dollar
some
ones.
great John Romita Jr. work. So please come check it out.
Yeah, check it out. And there's tons of art. And then of course, on Monday, Robbie and John will be back, and we'll do our regular 2-hour Comic Collectables show on the XP starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we're gonna have great sketch covers, slab books, back issues. So it should be a good time.
Heck yeah, I always enjoy hanging out with y'all. As far as me, you can catch me tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving, the Eli Roth film that we've been waiting 16 years for. And then Monday night, we're continuing on PCP Movie Night, Vam Dam, November with Kickboxer. You know, I said that Bloodsport's the greatest movie in the history of cinema. Well, we might be talking about the second best movie in the history of cinema on Monday night with Kickboxer.
Kickboxer, the worst scene, okay? The worst scene in that movie has to be when Van Damme gets up at that little restaurant and starts dancing.
That's the best scene in the movie.
Bad, dude. You figure a guy that could do all that. Dude, somebody get him some dancing lessons. Are you kidding me with this?
All right, and if nobody's rewatched Kickboxer yet, like when you're watching it, you explain to me what Van Damme is wearing during those parts of the movie, because he's wearing like, it looks on like passing glance, it looks like he's wearing a black tank top. It's actually like suspenders that come around.
Pleated pants.
Oh, he's wearing pleated pants pulled up straight up to his chest, but he's wearing this like, it's like a bodysuit with suspenders that come around, and it's got a little zipper. I'm telling y'all, I don't know what he's wearing, but I think he bought it at a sex shop. I don't know. That's just what I'm saying.
Have you ever been to Thailand?
No.
It is so friggin' hot. There's no way anybody is wearing long pants. Okay? It is so hot. Okay? The whole movie is wearing pleated pants, dress pants, with that tank top thing going on. It's just like, who is in charge of wardrobe here? Okay?
Me and my buddy Clayton were watching it on Wednesday, and we were commenting on his pants and shirts the whole time. And then he's also like, this was the style at the time. I remember this, but like the shirt and the pants are like 3 sizes too big. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, to make it even worse though, he's wearing pants in Thailand, in Bangkok, and he's like, they're even bigger than they should be. So it's like folding over. It's anyway. Kickboxer Monday night. Anyway, Rex, Amy, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. We are dipping out.